The views and opinions expressed in the DILLIGAF podcast are those of the host alone and are not intended to express those of any other person, business, or entity. The DILLIGAF podcast is for entertainment only. These are my opinions and should not be interpreted as facts or advice. Think for yourself.
Keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah. I think that we've all had enough.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the DILLIGAF podcast, talking about anything and everything that interests me. If it makes me think, laugh, cry, scream, rage, or say, what the fuck, you'll hear about it. My name's Tom. I'm your host. Thanks, everybody, for checking out the show on Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast from. Make sure to follow, like, subscribe, share, rate, comment, all that kind of good stuff. Really does help out the show. Make sure you're following on social media. It's at DILLIGAF_pod on all the socials. And you can find all that and more at my Linktree, which is Linktree/DILLIGAF_pod, or scan the little QR code right there in the corner. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's dilligafpod@gmail.com. So, got kind of a fun topic today. Today we're talking about the top 10 rock frontmen of all time. And I want to clearly define what I mean when I say frontman, because for my purposes, frontman is not the same as a lead singer. So some people may disagree with some of these things. They may say, oh, so-and-so is a better singer than that person. And you're probably right. I'd probably agree with you. But frontman encompasses more than just singing. It's the whole persona, that whole frontman aura. They're showmen. They command the stage. They put on a performance when they're up there. And they're maybe a little bit arrogant, kind of full of themselves, maybe a little self-destructive as well. There's the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to frontmen. And also, this is not including any solo artists. So you're not going to hear Jimi Hendrix on this list. He fits that frontman profile, but he's not a frontman. He was a solo guy. Yes, I know he had his band, but it was the Jimi Hendrix Experience. So if the lead singer or the frontman's name is right out in front of the band, to me, that's a solo artist. So you're also not going to hear like Tom Petty, because, yeah, it was Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. They were a band, but it was Tom Petty. He was a solo artist. So I hope that makes it a little bit more clear what I'm talking about when I say frontman. They have to be in a band, and they have to encompass that whole frontman persona, stereotype, whatever you want to call it. And I don't have these in any particular order. They're just in the order that I put them on the list. So we'll start right at the top. First one on my list, Axl Rose. Frontman for Guns N' Roses. He's probably the most stereotypical rock and roll frontman you'll ever see. Definitely a performer. He's a showman. The show is all about him. He's always right out front and center, and he's always had that attitude, that kind of arrogance, the onstage tantrums. I think everybody knows about the drug issues that Guns N' Roses had throughout the entire band. But, and obviously he's matured as he's gotten older. You don't hear those kind of crazy stories about him anymore. He actually started singing for AC/DC as well as Guns N' Roses as he's gotten older. So, he's not, doesn't totally fit that mold anymore, but overall, Axl Rose is your quintessential rock and roll frontman. Next up on my list is Mick Jagger. I don't think anything else needs to be said. I mean, frontman of the Rolling Stones. If you've ever seen or been to a Stones concert, he's, again, front and center. He puts on a performance. Even now, I mean, the Stones are still touring, and he's still up there gyrating and doing his thing and being Mick Jagger. So I don't think too many people could argue with him being on this list. Up next is the one that I think a lot of people would probably consider the greatest frontman of all time, and I'd be hard pressed to argue with that point. And I'm talking about Freddie Mercury. You talk about somebody putting on a show. If you've never seen a Queen performance, Google it. You can find them on YouTube or pretty much anywhere, and just look at his stage presence. And he was Queen. I mean, when he passed away, Queen was pretty much done. That's probably another criteria of what I would call a frontman. It can't be replaced. But yeah, Freddie Mercury, like I said, I would be hard pressed to disagree with him being considered the greatest frontman of all time. Phenomenal singer. Like I said, just a showman among showmen, and also kind of fit that self-destructive kind of mold. Just mm, I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, sorry, but yeah, Freddie Mercury again, probably the greatest frontman of all time. Next up on the list, Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. Very much in the same mold as Mick Jagger as far as his stage presence. Again, a phenomenal singer, one of the best rock vocalists you're gonna find. And Aerosmith, just a classic rock and roll band, and again fits that kind of self-destructive. I mean, there was a lot of a lot of issues with Aerosmith back in the day, and in case you can't tell, I haven't done a shit ton of research on any of this stuff. This is just basically my opinion of the 10 best frontmen in rock and roll. And yeah, it's my opinion, my show. Like I said at the beginning, these are just my opinions. So I would love to know what you guys think. If I miss anybody on this list, or if you think I should replace somebody with somebody else, definitely let me know. But next up is Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin. Just yeah, Zeppelin probably my favorite quote unquote classic rock band. And Robert Plant is one. His vocals are amazing. And Zeppelin, again, just probably one of the greatest bands in the history of the world. Let's be honest. And again, Robert Plant, he just commands the stage. Yes, it's Led Zeppelin. You've also got Jimmy Page and John Bonham. And I'm talking the original Led Zeppelin lineup, of course. But John Bonham, John Paul Jones, every one of them absolutely phenomenal at what they do. John Bonham, my all-time favorite drummer. I've got his picture hanging on my wall. But but yeah, Robert Plant was the one that kind of brought everything together, and just he was Led Zeppelin on stage. Next up, probably my favorite frontman, another person whose picture I have on my wall, Jim Morrison from The Doors. Now, I've heard a lot of people argue about Jim Morrison singing. I happen to love his vocals. I love his singing voice. Doesn't have a huge range. He's got that kind of baritone voice, but you talk about somebody putting on a show. I mean, he made every Doors show about him for the most part. Again, kind of out there, kind of dangerous, definitely self-destructive tendencies, but I think that can be said for all of these guys to a certain extent. And when the Doors were playing, it was the Jim Morrison show. And I think another big point to be made with all these guys, without these guys as the frontmen of these bands, I, I think there's an argument to be made. These bands would not have been nearly as big or as successful as they were, because these guys are the face of the band, and a lot of times that's the person that the audiences are going to see. And Jim Morrison again was just kind of out there and had an amazing stage presence. look up some Doors performances and watch the movie The Doors with Val Kilmer as Jim Morrison, and you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about. Next up on my list is Roger Daltrey from The Who. Crazy singing voice. And now, again, The Who is a band that was just packed with amazing musicians because you've got Pete Townsend and Keith Moon also in The Who. But again, Roger Daltrey, he's the guy out front. He's the guy putting on the show. He's the guy grabbing the audience and just keeping them keeping them there throughout the whole performance. Next one. Now I know I've called this front men just because that's the word that's always been used. But a woman can be a front man too. And the next one on my list is Grace Slick from Jefferson Airplane. I'm not talking about Jefferson Starship or Starship. I'm talking about Jefferson Airplane, the original. I'm talking about White Rabbit, Somebody to Love, that Jefferson Airplane. Grace Slick had probably one of the, I would say, top five voices of rock and roll in the 60s and could put on such a damn good show when she was sober because there's video out there of her in not such a good state on stage and it was just a disaster. And again, there goes that kind of self-destructive tendencies when you're just when you're in that position, when you're that famous. There's just so much right there in front of you for the taking, whether it be drugs, alcohol, just excess, just pure excess, and it's all right there. But yeah, I think Grace Slick definitely deserves a place on this list as the lead singer of Jefferson Airplane, as well as this next person, Stevie Nicks from Fleetwood Mac. Another one along the same lines as Jim Morrison. A lot of people criticize her vocal range, but her voice is just mesmerizing. I think that's what captured a lot of people about Fleetwood Mac. And she's very, what's the word? I guess kind of mysterious in a way. A lot of people call her witchy just because of her style and things like that. And yeah, again, she's eccentric. That's the word I was looking for. Eccentric. And but that just kind of added to the mystery and made people, something else that just brought people to see Fleetwood Mac was to see Stevie Nicks. And the last person on my list, I'm a little biased in this area. I had to include this person, but the 10th person on my list is Liam Gallagher from Oasis. Now, if you've ever seen an Oasis performance, he's not super animated on stage like a lot of these people are, but he's a phenomenal singer. And I think one of the things I said about being a frontman is a touch of arrogance. Yeah, Liam's got that on lock. Look at any old interviews with him. And again, he's matured as he's gotten older. But look at some old interviews with Liam Gallagher and Noel Gallagher, for that matter. Those two butted heads over who was the actual leader of Oasis for so many years that it led to the destruction of the band. And they've just gotten back together. They start up a new tour here in a couple of months, and I'm going to see them in August. I can't freaking wait. But yeah, Liam Gallagher definitely fits the mold of your quintessential rock and roll frontman. And that that's that's my top 10. So that's Axl Rose, Mick Jagger, Freddie Mercury, Steven Tyler, Robert Plant, Jim Morrison, Roger Daltrey, Grace Slick, Stevie Nicks, and Liam Gallagher. All these people in their own way have carved out their own spot in the history of rock music. They are the front of some of the greatest bands in the history of rock music. Like I said, if I was to rank these 1 through 10, Freddie Mercury would definitely be number one for me, and Everybody, I mean, hell, everybody else could be tied for number two, but I would put Freddie Mercury at the top as the best. But Liam Gallagher is my favorite, if that makes any sense. And Jim Morrison's right up there too. So that would be my top three. Just my own personal opinion. But I want to know what you guys think. Drop me some comments. Like I said, I wasn't looking to get into their history, their life story. Like, no, everybody knows who these people are. If you're a music fan, you know who every one of these people are. You've probably seen video of them. You may have been to their concerts and seen the way these people just own the stage that they're on, and they are the show. The As phenomenal as the bands might be, without these frontmen, it's just not the same. So that's kind of the criteria here. And like I said, let me know what you guys think. Did I forget anybody? Should I substitute somebody out? I know my buddy, I asked one of my buddies for some feedback on this, and he actually suggested David Lee Roth, which would, yeah, that's a damn good one. But I ended up putting Liam Gallagher instead because uh, it's Liam Gallagher. But yeah, David Lee Roth would have fit right into this list as as a front man. So maybe we make him number 11. So, but I want to know what you guys think. Did I forget anybody? Should I have substituted somebody out? Do you agree, disagree? You think I'm crazy? Do you think all these people suck? Tell me about it. Let me know. Drop me a comment. Shoot me an email. Something. Tell me something. But for right now, I think that's pretty much going to wrap me up for this week. Next week coming up is going to be a Freestyle Friday, so I'm just going to be talking about whatever the hell's on my mind at the moment. So that's going to be on Friday, May 23rd. That one's coming out. And another reason I'm doing the show a day early next week is because Saturday the 24th is my birthday and I don't want to work. So so next week will be a Freestyle Friday. Hope you guys will check that out. I'll be talking about a lot of stuff going on in the world, stuff going on just in general in life, whatever. Like I said, whatever's on my mind. It's Freestyle Friday. I can talk about whatever the hell I want. But for now, that's going to do it for the top 10 rock and roll frontmen of all time. Let me know what your opinions are. And again, thank you to everybody for checking out the show on Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts from. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, rate, share, comment, all that kind of stuff. It really does help out the show as far as placement in searches and things like that. So any interaction, any feedback is greatly appreciated. Make sure you're following on social media. It's at DILLIGAF_pod on all the socials. And you can find all that on my link tree, which is linktree/DILLIGAF_pod, or scan the QR code right there in the corner of your screen if you're watching the video. And if you want to shoot me an email, it's dilligafpod@gmail.com. So with that, I am going to sign off for right now. And as always, if anyone has any issues with anything that I have said here today, ask yourself one question. Do I look like I give a fuck?